Today for crypto, things kind of turned for the worst. We got a breakdown below 1800 for Ethereum, and this was the previous resistance zone that was unable to hold as new support. On top of that, we got Bitcoin confirming basically a continuation pattern on the daily RSI, another breakdown below the RSI uptrend. What does this mean for crypto? How low could the prices be going now? We're going to be discussing all of that and more in today's video. What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Kevin Svenson, and today is August 19th, and crypto took a hit. Markets are down heavy. Bitcoin was already starting to come below this upward sloping trend line. We had 2 days below it, 2 daily candles below it, and now today, the third one, well, it's looking pretty bad. Bitcoin's down almost 8% on the day right now. So yeah, things are turning for the worse for crypto at the moment. And yes, guys, we were talking about this on this channel. We said, bearish, confirmation, question mark, Bitcoin's on the edge, about to, maybe about to fall off a cliff, whatever. And we gave you guys the exact signals and price levels that would determine if this was going to tip over. So if you guys like this type of non-biased content where we're just telling you how it is, giving you the signals and the prices, definitely smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. So Bitcoin here today, what we're seeing now is a continuation of this, downtrend signal here, this RSI uptrend breakdown. Even back here, if you look at this zone, check this out. The RSI is on this uptrend, even back here after the $69,000 top. And once we break down, guys, once we break below the RSI right here, what happens? Well, the price goes to the downside. After Bitcoin hit that support at 33K, we had an uptrend for a couple months, and then down. Why? Because we broke below the RSI trend line. Here, broke below the RSI trend line. And guys, we were giving you this warning the past few days that, we're getting below the RSI trend line, and this could just be a bearish continuation pattern, just like we saw before. And it is now playing out to be, exactly that. Now, this is not what you want to see on the chart unless you are a bear shorting the market. But the signs were kind of there, guys. The signals were kind of there. I had hope that maybe if Ethereum held 1800, that maybe we would see, some kind of recovery. But like we were saying, if ETH can't hold 1800, Bitcoin's going to drop as well. And look at this, guys. Right, looking at Ethereum here yesterday on the 4 hour, and then looking at Bitcoin, Bitcoin's taking even more downside. Bitcoin is finding more sellers than Ethereum. Look at that in the short term. This is because Ethereum does have the merge coming up. Ethereum does have a lot of demand because of the merge. So there is more buy action on ETH than Bitcoin. And it's very, very obvious. And Ethereum was really that last thing, that last line of defense. If we could have held 1800 as support, then we would have, probably Bitcoin wouldn't have broken down so much. But here we are today, getting the signals, getting the bearish continuation pattern on the daily RSI to play out. And now it's starting to kind of just look like what we've been seeing the whole time, an upward sloping consolidation followed by a breakdown, upward sloping consolidation followed by a breakdown. Now, what do we see? Upward sloping consolidation followed by a breakdown. So this does give weight to the bearish arguments. This does give weight to the idea that maybe Bitcoin could test lower prices at some point. The reason why it's been so difficult to find support is because the US dollar index, guys, the US dollar index is still going to the moon. To the moon, guys. It is going parabolic right now. Look at this. We had a little bit of a fake out on August 10th, August 11th right here, and that gave the bulls a little bit of hope. But if you go to August 10th, August 11th, check it out. That was this day right here. So we were breaking down for the US dollar index, August 10th, August 11th, and Bitcoin on those days was coming up. And then very quickly, the US dollar index said, nope, and just went to the moon because the Fed is likely going to continue to raise interest rates, right? And that does create demand for the US dollar. Other countries might be purchasing the US dollar in hopes to earn some kind of higher interest on it. So demand for the dollar increases as interest rates increase, and that is likely the reason why we are seeing this epic inverse correlation. If we go to Bitcoin to the US dollar, and you can see, I mean, the correlation has been, very, very strong. The inverse correlation has been very, very strong since that, just directly against one another, Bitcoin and the US dollar. And the past few days, we've seen really just a perfect inverse correlation here. Boom, boom. So it's pretty clear. We're going to have to wait for the US dollar to lose its steam. And something about this that I want to mention, and I've said this before, when it comes to an asset that has momentum, when something has momentum like this, right? It's very dangerous to bet against the asset with momentum, right? It's very dangerous when something's going up parabolically. I'm sure some of you traders out there know. You think, oh, it's gone up so much. I'm gonna short this or something, and then it just keeps going up, and you're like, oh my God, what the hell? That's what I mean. It's dangerous to bet against an asset that has momentum because markets can stay irrational longer than you can stay solvent. So the US dollar index can go way higher than you possibly could have imagined, right? That's how this goes. I mean, think about the people that were looking at this in 2014, 2015. I don't think anybody probably expected that back then, for it to just rip straight, in a straight line up. And guess what, guys? Something very similar is taking place right now where the US dollar index is just ripping straight up. And this is one of the most important things to look at is the US dollar index. Let's go to the monthly. There's no telling, you can't just look at the chart here and do some kind of technical analysis where the technicals actually matter. Guys, this is, all fundamentally driven by the Fed and global economics. So this is not something that we can just look at the chart and say, oh, we're going to top out right here because that's what no. It's not something that we can look at and just say, oh, we're going to top out at this price because there's a resistance there. Guys, it's really probably not going to be like that. It's all up to the global economics and what the Fed's going to do. And if the Fed got super aggressive with interest rates, people would want more cash to gain interest. So the price, the DXY, the US dollar index would just keep going up. So it's all about the Fed. Do you see how in this range the US dollar index 2014, 2015 came up, and then we consolidated all the way until 2019? I think that it's probably going to be something similar where the Fed has stated that they're going to slow down hiking interest rates at some point. But until then, we're likely going to keep going up for the US dollar index. And just like this range here where we kind of go sideways and then down, it's possible that we may be looking to, go higher than we expect, consolidate up above previous resistance as new support, right? Like this area right here. See that? The same thing could be happening again where the US dollar index goes way higher than you expect, consolidates, and then goes down later. Now that consolidation at higher levels, wherever that may be, I'm not saying it's going to be right here. I'm just saying wherever it may be, that's when Bitcoin's really going to start to bottom for sure. When the US dollar index loses its momentum and starts going sideways and consolidating, because usually that's what happens, right? The US dollar index is probably not going to act like an altcoin. It's probably going to consolidate. The market's going to settle up at a certain level, and then it'll come down later. And then that dump later is when the bull run will begin for stocks and crypto. But upon the consolidation, that's when we can be looking for our bottom for Bitcoin. And right now, when you're looking at Bitcoin on the daily chart, it kind of just looks like it wants to continue down. It kind of looks like it wants to just see a new low. And that's just my hunch, right? That's just my hunch. It appears that way because we're not, we just created this, we had an upward sloping consolidation, and now we're just losing all of the progress we made. We're losing all the progress we made. And again, the US dollar index is going parabolic. And do you really want to bet against the asset that has all the momentum? Well, if you're a trader out there, you should know what I'm saying. It has the momentum. And until this thing consolidates and breaks down, well, it's not going to be too good for crypto or stocks, right? And if you look at the SPX, S&P, we are at this very key downward sloping resistance. And this is our main resistance right now from the top, the end of 2021, lower highs. We're starting to reject. US dollar index is going parabolic. The Fed wants to increase rates. for the time being. So yeah, the stock market could also play out downside. And whatever the stock market does, crypto is going to do. And we know this. It's not even a debate anymore like it used to be. Stock market, crypto is going to follow it. Right? So the fact that Bitcoin lost all of its progress since, you know, July, I mean, you could even say since basically middle of July, we've just canceled all that progress. It just swoops down. Not really a great sign that we just dump like this in a day. And, you know, instead of just like guessing what price it's going to be, you know, how low are we going to go? What price exactly are we going to hit? I mean, really, like, that's anybody's guess. And if your guess is correct, you just got lucky. I'm not going to make this some sort of simplistic thing about we need to hit this price and then we'll bounce. Guys, it's up to the fundamentals. It's up to the global economics. When the stock market finds a low, when the US dollar index finds a top, that's where we're going to bottom. That's all you really need to know. And until then, I suppose things can get worse before they get better. It's possible, right? We're just doing another continuation pattern down. So like we've been saying the past many videos, if you're buying here, it's not an optimal buy, right? We were saying that in every video. If you're buying here, it's not an optimal entry. We said that in every video. And well, now you're seeing why. We were saying everyone's getting bullish, time to be cautious. Now you're seeing why, right? And basically, guys, if you're looking at the long term, and you look at this downward sloping resistance line, okay, that is the macro resistance. And things are not going to get very bullish until we're above this resistance. Guys, it's going to take months to get there. Look at this. Look at the Brave New Liquid Index. Let's look at the long-term history for Bitcoin. Go to the weekly chart. Things do not get bullish until you're above the downtrend line. Where are we now? Below the downtrend line. So until then, Bitcoin can just go sideways. Bitcoin could, in theory, go to lower levels. So basically the main message here is that we got a lot of work to do. We're not out of the woods just yet. And as long as the US dollar index is mooning, we are not going to moon. So Bitcoin is still in the process of finding its bottom. I'm not saying we haven't found it. It's possible that that was the low, but we could be looking to, to test back down to create a longer term base of support before breaking out. And again, I don't want to guess at a specific bottom price. All I know is that the US dollar index needs to top out and the stock market needs to bottom out. And then people will be, once again, confident to speculate on crypto. But there is a potential that we see lower levels. There's a potential that we at least retest the lows until we see the US dollar index top and lose some steam and start going sideways. Because once the US dollar index is going sideways, then we're no longer going down, right? So once the US dollar index tops and goes sideways, then Bitcoin's going to go sideways. That's the key. I mean, check this out. I know some of you maybe think, well, what do you mean? Well, look at this, guys. Look, beginning of 2015, what happened? The US dollar index starts going sideways. Let's go look at Bitcoin. Beginning of 2015. Oh, what do you know? We're going sideways. So that's how this is, right? We need the US dollar index to start going sideways so we can bottom and get stable again before a recovery above the macro trend line. It'll take months. We're not out of the woods just yet. So those are the things you need to look at. Starting to look a little iffy here. US dollar index is once again stealing the show. And I know a lot of people are probably going to be asking the question of, Kev, should I sell? Should I dump it all? Because you're saying lower prices are possible. Well, guys, first of all, control your emotions before you do something. Don't be like all scared and I'm gonna start clicking buttons and you're scared. Don't do that. First of all, control your emotions and think about what you're doing. It's very possible that the prices could go lower to lower lows. Now, if you're looking at this from a long-term perspective, if you're buying Bitcoin at 20K, you're likely going to have a multiple X return in the long term, right? In the long term, in the next 1, 2, 3, 4 years or whatever, right? So, you know, if you are, let's say, you know, think like a whale. If you're a whale and you're looking and you've been buying a little bit here, and you think, okay, well, maybe we could go lower, where you're just going to deploy more capital at lower levels, right? And now you're averaged in here, you're just averaging in, and you're taking it easy. You're not freaking out, you're just averaging in. And then the long term, you know, by the process of averaging in, you're catching the bottom. Because if you're averaging in, you're going to be buying it every step of the way down. And that way you will catch the bottom. It doesn't have to be perfect. Guys, trading and investing is never perfect. Stop thinking it has to be perfect. There's no such thing as perfection. It's always dirty. It's always messy. It's always like, oh, I could have done this better. It's always how it is. But if you're just averaging in here, that's fine. If you're looking at this from a long-term perspective, then go to the beach, right? Just forget it. Go to the beach. Buy some when we dip. If we dip below 17, buy. Just buy, right? Long-term, we're fine. You know, if we see Ethereum back at 1,000, I'm going to be buying a lot. Or, I mean, it's not like exactly 1,000. I mean, I would actually prefer it to go below 1,000 because I would like to get, you know, the sub 1,000 multiples in the long term would likely be huge. So if we get anywhere below 1,000, I'm probably going to be buying a lot. And I am going to be focusing a lot on Ethereum as well. The opportunity does lie in Ethereum in terms of the amount of percentage of returns you get is much higher than Bitcoin. Much higher than Bitcoin. So of course, you got to have Bitcoin in your portfolio. Obviously, it's the most stable. It has the longest history. It's the most secure. It's the most likely to exist. So you got to have Bitcoin, but Ethereum is second. It has a little bit more percentage gain opportunity. But yeah, guys, I mean, it depends on what you're, you know, if you went all in at the recent top and you're not a long-term trader, well, then you just made a bad decision. But if you're a long-term trader, again, go to the beach. Who cares, right? Just buy more when we dip. But that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Smash the like button and subscribe to this channel. Guys, go below to join the Patreon to get into my VIP Discord chat. If you get into Patreon, you can connect it to Discord. And then also check out these rewards. Kraken, I stake my Ethereum there. BitGet, you get thousands of dollars in rewards if you use my link below. Deposit $100 into futures, leave it there for a few days, and you should be getting rewards. Just follow the steps for this one, right? Follow the steps. There are steps. Most of you guys already use KuCoin. But that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.